Hello, guys. My name is Tamarin Payne, and I'm here to discuss dance as a spiritual practice. I'm going to be talking with Neda Nenadic. She is a very accomplished five rhythms teacher, and I actually went to one of her classes last night. Obviously, we're still in the midst of Corona, so it was a Zoom class, but it was a very beautiful experience. And certainly for me, it felt like a very spiritual practice. But we talked for a long time about this, and she had a lot of beautiful insights. So let's get straight to it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh dear. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and Nada today. We are talking about dance as a spiritual practice. We're very honored to have Nada. She is a very accomplished five rhythms facilitator and practitioner. And yeah, Nada, thank you so much for being here. So before we get to the kind of chat about dance as a spiritual practice in general, I want to ask you to tell people a little bit about what five rhythms is.
So, Fire Rhythms is a physical moving meditation practice, a practice which was created by Gabriel Roth. So, basically, it's a practice that people, I have been part of this practice now for 30 years. And it's a practice now that people do all over the world. So, they do it in weekly classes, they do it in the workshops. And I think Fire Rhythms now is pretty much a part of life of thousands and thousands of people as a practice for the sense of physical, mental, and emotional and soulful human well-being. So it's a beautiful organic practice.
It is. It is a very beautiful practice. If you haven't tried it before, I would highly recommend. Of course, like being in the sort of London circles that I'm in, I've also done some ecstatic dance, which is a little bit different, but it's kind of, you see a lot of the same faces. So can I ask you why you chose to go more down the five rhythms route than the ecstatic dance route, and maybe what the main differences are for people that haven't tried it before?
Well, I think when I spoke to Samuel, I said to him, I'm very old-fashioned human being, I think. And I really like the idea of working with something for a long period of time. I think we really live in times when there are a lot of changes. The life is very chaotic at the moment. There are a lot of changes. You look at it on every level, what's happening around us. And I think we struggle. I really feel, my personal opinion, that we struggle with sense of commitment and the sense of longevity. So for me, when I'm 50 now, so I met Gabrielle Roth when I was 26, but I started Fire Rhythms when I was 20. And when I met her, I felt this extraordinary woman is my teacher, because she wasn't selling me anything. She was just opening this extraordinary time and space for myself to surrender with my own body, heart, mind, and soul into this beat and the rhythm and the dance. And to be honest, like I got so addicted to it 30 years ago. I simply am so inspired by it. It has supported my life on every level and through everything. So I simply have not had need to look for anything else. Fire Rhythms for me, it's not just a practice that I do sometimes, that I teach. It's I live it. It helps me as well. I work with dying people. And for example, recently there was experience that here in Brighton, there was a lady that was coming to the end of her life, and this NHS couldn't find anyone literally to cope with her. And they somehow heard about me, and we got on like house on fire. So for the last 2.5 months of her life, something happened between her and me, and I was her main person. And that's because I combined and I brought five rhythms to tending to her. And
Wow.
that's my own, and that is wow. And then they just said to me, what do you do? Like,
What's
what is it that
the
you
secret?
do? Like, and they wanted to employ me. And I said, you don't employ me. This is my work. And they said, what do you call it? I said, I call it, a faithful witness, human witness, like exactly what we do in the practice. And what I'm passionate, you were in my class last night, and this is why I really wanted you to feel like tiny snippets of how I approach, and what I offer to the practice. And is that elusive, beautiful thread that I feel, for me, Gabriel inspired with this work. It's to inspire each and every human being to trust their own ways in life, through life, as in living, as in dying. Like, in the dance, like, even on the screen, you allowing that space for somebody to come and unfold in their own way. When we have that beautiful, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm dreaming of studio, and see people. And I miss now, like I said last night, like I miss when people, behind the desk and people are coming in, and as they walk into the space, there is a whole story coming through with them while they're silent.
Absolutely.
They're not saying anything, but you can see that. And so the body really doesn't lie. And I am such a basic 5 rhythms teacher. I am so basic and human, and I really love being in life. I love this life that's given to us from day to day, and to be present through each and every moment. I think it's really challenging for a lot of us. But if we have that practice that we can practice every day, so for example, whatever is going for us emotionally, mentally, that we can move with it. We don't have to dissect it, get rid of it, whatever. It's like there is such a beauty, like if you feel tired, let's say, or exhausted, and you allow the tiredness and exhaustion to move through you and with you, that will eventually shift. Shift is just the way day follows the night. It's okay to be in the head. It's okay to be in the head and be so fucking intelligent, like a lot of people are. Extremely intelligent. I'm really not agreeing with this thing. People say, oh, get out of your mind and get into your body. If you saw a human being who gets out of their mind and their body, that's dangerous. I'm talking about realignment of what Gabriel talked about, embodiment, that your body, your heart, your mind, your soul, your instinct, that what you feel. First of all, you need to know what you're feeling, because a lot of people are kind of, mystery themselves.
Yeah.
But, to feel what you're feeling, to have courage, to express it, to be it. When you know, this is, I think, what 5 rhythms does. It chisels you from inside out. Over time, over dancing and dancing, you get over your own, whatever your own it is. And some of it is, I'm not putting anything down. Some of it is really challenging. People have lived through traumas and difficulties and all of that, but we have to keep showing up for ourselves. So dance is like a river that cleanses you. The more you come, the more you sweat. The more you come, the more you sweat. You clean from inside. And you become fresh to yourself.
Beautiful.
It's like I fucking love it. I mean, I'm just like,
guys, she loves it. You have to go to her classes.
So I've been living in England now, beautiful 35 years. It's been a beautiful home to me. But when you make tea in England, you can't, like, or anywhere, you can't make tea with lukewarm water. You just don't get the thing out.
Yeah.
So, for example, this is why when I do warm-ups in the class, I really make people physically work with it, to really engage the physicality of the body. And then when you are fully, like, grounded, when you have fully arrived into your body, when you feel that heartbeat and the sweat just pouring over you a little bit, I think then you are ready to start the wave.
Okay, and let's talk about these waves then. Can we just talk about what the different the names of these different things are for the wave that make up the wave?
Okay, the first rhythm is flowy. So the way the practice is structured, so for example, flowing is about the body, to really engage the physicality of the body. The gateway to flowing is feet. So when you come to the class, if you can move your feet, it doesn't matter how tired you are, whatever it's feeling, because when you move the feet, or if you can't move the feet, you can roll on the floor. you can crawl, you can slither, whatever it is. Just move your whole body. When you do that, a lot of the times we are fearful to move our body, because what will happen, we will awaken the senses and the feelings, especially what we have suppressed or what we fear about ourselves.
Right. Okay.
So in flowing, when we let that in the motion in a grounded, circular, rounded way. And another thing about flowing, it really teaches us about the cyclical nature of life, which nature is. So when we move in that way, then what happens always is that we feel, we breathe in, and we really feel what is happening with us, and whatever is bubbling up, whatever needs the expression, starts expressing itself in that beat of the staccato. So from the inner, from the feeling, from the receptive, gathering, inward feeling, then we start with the pulse and the beat of staccato. We start expressing it, daring it to express. But for example, the way rhythms work in the practice is like through the body parts. So first we open the feet, knees, hips. This is why I'm a religious teacher of feet, knees, and hips. It's like we really have to get down, get here before we go anywhere else. Okay. And then, so when you waken the lower body, and then when the hips are awakened, then the expression that will come, through the heart and out of the body will be grounded. Grounded in your truth, grounded in your authenticity. It will come through you. And that is such a beautiful, flowing into staccato. And then the staccato is the rhythm of the heart. Okay. It's the element flowing is earth. So then we go into that fire, the heart, the expression, the truth as well. But all of these rhythms have got, like shadow aspect to them. So for example, with flowing, it's so beautiful to be in flow in life, to be in flow, to take things on. And then yet a lot of us get stagnant with our own fear and inertia. Okay. So it's like there is opposite, to each rhythm. And then in staccato, it's so beautiful when we have that courage to be who we are, to express who we are with real connection to our heart and to respect another human being. And yet very easily, if that heart is hurt, we will become angry and we're going to hurt very easily. And it's going to be that shadow aspect, that rigidity.
And so you might feel that when you're moving in that moment, if it goes into staccato and maybe there is something there that hasn't been dealt with, when you're moving, you can feel that.
Absolutely. And what is so beautiful, so for example, obviously I say to my students, don't do it in life, but we all hold a lot of things. We have so many times when we talk to people and we just want to say, go and fuck yourself. Or we just want to thump somebody in the face or but we don't do it. So it's like there are a lot of times that we don't express these things which are not actually appropriate, first of all, and because they awaken a lot of emotions in us. But in the class itself, it's like we have this exercise when we're doing staccato where we do, we literally go, it's like being manic depressive. And we go for 1 minute, we just go into expressing, I love you. You are amazing. You are fantastic. I just love you. You're beautiful. I respect you. And then flip. You're fucking rubbish. You awful. I hate you. You are the worst. You've done. Oh, it's like all this projection.
And to clarify, that is through movement, guys. We're not shouting in the class. It's through our body movements. We're getting out.
Actually, sometimes we do shout as well. Okay. And we allow these things because this is the human laboratory where you bring these things in a very creative way so we kind of serve each other, because it's like you can do anything you want on your own, but when you are seen in that state of yourself, the very parts that we are ashamed of, the very parts that we judge, the very parts that we don't like about ourselves, when we are witness and see, and we are literally liberated through that. So what I'm saying, to do this in a creative, supportive way can be and is extraordinarily empowering. And then we go into chaos, and chaos is just the the joining of the two, the flowing and the staccato. And
Right.
it's about the release, and it's about the surrender.
Okay.
And the gateway to chaos is to really soften the left and the right side of the feet, to really to soften the head, and just really allow this beat to move through you. It's like really allowing that instinctive way of body undoing itself. And what is so beautiful, because the way it's wrapped up, chaos for me, the way it's wrapped up within the practice, it's in the middle. So it's so beautifully held by flowing and staccato, and it's going to be so beautifully held by lyrical and the stillness. And in chaos, it's what I fell in love with this practice, because you see the most unrefined, like when you see human being moving in a way that is so liberating, and you can see like layers and layers of movement and expression and emotions coming out through them. It is just extraordinarily amazing.
Yeah.
How much freedom can happen within one human being. And then you see how much suppression, oppression, repression there is one human being. And I think that what is so beautiful, that in chaos, for me, you bring that personal, you bring your human, you define yourself. I want this, I don't want this, like this. And then in chaos, you just go, like, you let it go. Because fundamentally, we whole life is about letting go and surrender and trusting. It's not just letting it go, beheading yourself. It's a grounded surrender. And this is what Gabriel said about the practice of 5 rhythms, like that moving center. So when you come into 5 rhythms class, or you come to a workshop, these maps are literally always training you to be the most alive and true who you are. And then from chaos comes lyrical, and lyrical is just, for me, lyrical is like a waterfall. It's like whatever happens in flowing, in staccato, and if you have really, really like surrendered in chaos, then this beautiful letting go happens, which is lyrical. And you just feel like after a really good cry or good life, you feel this spaciousness. And for me, lyrical is really the teacher of expansion of that soul. Because whatever you have suffered, whatever you have gone through, trust me, every other human being has been through some sort of shade of that emotion. And then as well, whatever has happened to us, there is like that beautiful artist and alchemist that gets awakened in lyrical and stillness, that whatever we have lived and whatever has come our way has been what has shaped us, what has created us. And there is so much more in life. Like even this pandemic now, it's really challenging, it's really horrendous, but the universe, the way it has been since ever has been, even before us humans have existed, has its way of doing and undoing itself and doing all kinds of things. Lyrical, and then stillness comes, and stillness is just a really moment of pause. And what I really love about each wave and each dance is that what is so amazing is that you can shake off what can be shaken off. But at the same time as you are shaking all of this off and moving, at the same time, simultaneously, something is like chiseling itself out in you. So at the same time as you are falling apart in some way, you are coming together in another way. And in that deep sense of your solitude and aloneness, and you know what you love and what you respect, and you discover the deeper layer of yourself, that in each and every class that I go to, I am reminded that, you know, there is the end of one class, practicing endings. There is the, the end of one day, the end of one project. There will be end of one relationship, maybe, but for sure there will be the end of your life one day. So Gabrielle said, you know, oh my God, it gets so emotional. So she says, like, you know, my body is the wife of my spirit.
That's beautiful.
And she, it's like, oh my God, it's like,
and that's why we do dancing. That's why this is, I guess, a spiritual practice as well. If our body is the wife to our spirit, then, you know, it's one and the same. It's a vessel to express our spirit, to be
it
with
is, because that's where we are for how long, you know, we live. And this is what she spoke about, and this is what I'm fucking passionate about to people. Before you go to any other relationship, like, what is your marriage to yourself? Like, what is your, actually, I'm not into marriage to yourself. That would be too complicated to do regarding divorce. It's like, I don't want to go. I would hate.
You've got,
so what I'm saying,
it's like you've got to love yourself before you can love others. And this practice, it kind of, you can nurture the marriage to your body and to your spirit. And then once you've nurtured that, you can go out into the world and be a beautiful human being. I mean, that's how I feel with it anyway. You know, do things that make you feel wonderful, and you can spread that feeling out, you know, with everybody.
it is. And I think it's kind of as well more than just wonderful, because sometimes it's not easy to be oneself. So practicing that deep kindness, you know, when you really hate yourself, when things are really hard, it's, I'm not talking, oh, you know, love yourself and then everything be hunky-dory, because world is in a very painful place at the moment. Really, it is.
I think we've still got time. Magically, we've still got time. I just want to quickly check in and see if there are any other ways that you would like to describe how dance is a spiritual practice in general, not just, you know, with dance, just moving our bodies and the dance.
Well, I feel for me, so I can, like, because for me it's a very, the thing about five rhythms for me, that what I love the most about it is so grounded. So I feel sometimes, you know, in this new age world, like, you know, this spirituality seems to be so high up somewhere, you know, up there, and it's like so divine. I don't think I could ever get to those ideas of it.
Right.
But I do know, like, what I do know, what every cell of my being knows, is that when I'm in that pure state of being alive and present, where I'm so, like, when, you know, sometimes, like, when we do like those 5-6 day dances, and you come into the space and you start moving again, and then every single cell in your body is attuned. You have shed these layers of emotional baggage, which we all have. You have cleansed your mind of this chatter and this kind of highway of relentless madness, and some of it is quite abusive.
Yeah.
And you have cleansed your physical, emotional, your mental system. And then, oh my God, then what happens is, like, there is this state of being instinctively connected to the ground, like to the heartbeat in you, to the ground beneath you, to the space around you, to the breath that comes in and through you. And I love when we used to do those, and we are really, like, our training was in the States, and the last one was in California. And I remember walking out after our amazing party and being, you know, in that space. And I felt like I was in communion with the whole of life. Bingo. And the universe. And it's actually beyond, you know, sometimes we have these beautiful experience, like, you know, love making, you know, if you happen to have with another human being, having that deep communion, surrender. But this was from every single pore of my life. like of myself towards life. And I feel what happens when I'm in that place, I trust myself. I trust the time and space I'm in. I trust my age. I'm 50 now, and I can so feel, clearly on my timeline feel I don't know what I have left, what's going to come my way, but I know that I've lived that. I'm here now.
Yeah.
And I trust this. There is like this divine grace and thread and purpose for each and every one of us of life to feel that alive and that plugged in.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people danced more and you had that sense that you fucking fell in love with yourself just by being alive, and then you walked out and you fell in love with life, would you need anything else to enhance the amazing thing that you are? Do you need anything else to enhance your originality, your uniqueness, your wackiness, your take on life, the way you love, the way you live, who you are? Because that's, I think, what life is asking of each and every one of us.
Yeah.
To reach our true original potential. And the way I feel this practice is teaching me how to live life.
Yeah. It's definitely almost a blueprint for just how we should live life. It's not just a class to come to and then,
No.
I feel good, I'll just go on with whatever. It is a deep blueprint in how to navigate everything that life can throw at you.
And there is this thing, I really hope you come and you can be guest to one of my classes in Brighton when I open, when you get real and you do this like one walk-in meditation when you're between people. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you've been, what degree, what courses, whatever. When you come in that moment and you do that exercise, you're going to have to be yourself in that moment. And that is the hard bit for all of us. But yet, that's how life wants to be lived. Fucking spontaneous on the edge.
Yeah, of course.
On the edge.
Who wants to live life boring and knowing what's going to come?
But we do. Life wants to be lived on the edge from the center of your being. That is very different.
Amazing. Oh, well, Neda, thank you so much. I feel like we've done a really in-depth chat on, more you talking than me, but we've done an in-depth look into what your classes are all about. Can you just, so we have the information, tell people where you're teaching at the moment, if it's just online, and where you normally teach, just so we can find you?
So at the moment I teach online. And I've got this Instagram and Facebook page, but I'm really looking forward to, it looks like studio will open in September. So I will be physically teaching in Brighton. But I think what I will do actually after the, lockdown, I really loved connecting to some people online. And it's so beautiful actually, this online classes. I've done a couple of one-to-one sessions, which was really beautiful as well, for some personal work. And so I'm here in Brighton, and that's what I shall be for a while.
Okay, so you can find Neda in Brighton also on her social media, which I'll post below. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll be commenting after we finish this interview. Okay, thank you, Neda.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and of course I am repping Open Mandala for this. Open Mandala gives discounts to members on all sorts of amazing events just like these classes, so check them out if you want to find out more.